I have used Fatcap products for a while now. None of them, in my opinion, are as good as Kaizen foam. I don't know if you've heard of it, Kaizen, I have no idea. But it's a foam that real simply has all these layers in it. I'm sure you've heard of it. There's a bunch of little layers that run this way. So you cut out a pattern, you peel it out, it fits a perfect pocket for your tools. I have it all over the shop. I'll show you a couple of spots and drawers and stuff that I have. One thing I did a year ago that has turned out fantastic, it's one of my favorite things I've ever done, is incorporate a little piece of it into my table saw fence. So it holds my tools. But I'll show you in a close-up right now why I need to redo it. Okay, so here is my setup. I always have a tape measure. I added this recently, and I'll explain a couple of things real quick. Always like to have the pencil and pen. This is Milwaukee's Marxall or Inksall. I'm not kidding you. This thing will write on everything, including greased up iron, I mean, you name it. So if you do a bunch of different work, this thing is amazing. I love keeping this thing close at hand. Simple pencil. I love the digital angle gauge because pretty much every time I move the blade, it's a little neurotic because from what I've seen, this saw stop is perfect. It actually goes right back to 0, 45, everything, just perfectly well. But I really want to make sure, so I just always have that, and I found myself using it so often I did it. Well, this is the remote to my dust collection and a handful of other things, and I used to have a small one that went here. I added this because I found myself always checking square because I think I'm neurotic, and even though I know it's probably fine, I just check square every time I'm doing something. So I like to keep that handy. And then I just got this from Woodpecker's Tools. It's called the Delve Square, and I just loved it. It's real small, it's real light. Obviously the push stick. I've done this 2 times now. This will be my 3rd time redesigning this. I never put a spot for my safety glasses because I want them to be cumbersome. I want them to be loose because anytime I walk out into the shop, I grab them and put them on no matter what. So at the end of the day, when I'm done in the shop, I just set them back there so that the next day I come and grab them. But I'll show you how I'm going to redesign it. One thing that I do is that I only use scrap for this. And so after I've done a drawer or I've packed a present in it, I love doing, a lot of times when I give pens as presents, I put the pen in them so I can wrap them. It just looks good. But I always save my offcuts because these 2 offcuts I will stick together. You really won't know the difference. I'll put a tool right there, and I think what I'm probably gonna do is probably put like this tool. I'll just butt them up tight to each other, and then when it comes time, I'll be able to slide this tool in between. You'll never really know there's a gap. So I'll show you how I lay everything out, and we'll go from there. Okay, so let's lay this out. Here's one of the things I'm thinking about doing is I never use this side of the fence. So I think I may keep this a little bit bigger and overhang it a little. Like you can see here, this side has this whole rail exposed and this one lays over the top of it. Well, I think I may lay over even a little bit more. You know, that's 1/2 inch. I may use this bottom one and actually keep it notched like that. I don't know. We'll kind of play with it as we go. But I know I'm going to keep a similar layout. So I'm just going to start laying out tools how I like them. And I think what happens a lot of times is I just get used to having things a certain way. So I keep them in roughly the same spot. Okay, here's the way I think I'm gonna do it. This way I think I'll cut them flush, so I'll cut this little piece off the bottom and it'll still work. But it's a little bit wider than this. It'll overhang just a tad. And the cool thing is I just sprayed this on with some spray adhesive and it just comes right off. And that's it. So we'll clean that up a little bit. Lay in the new one and then just start cutting. And yes, the great thing about this stuff is that you cut it with a normal knife, but I really like the clean line that this gives. So don't judge me, I'm using it. Flipped you around. The camera is sitting on the outfeed table of the table saw so that I can kind of work and you guys can see what's going on. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just lay things back out and then trace them one by one. So let's do that real fast. Okay. Now that that is all done, I'm just gonna trace each one out individually. This is Fatcap's long-nosed pattern marker. And if you do this type of work, this is what you want. This thing is, it's kind of invaluable when you're doing this because it's got this big old long, kind of needle-like nose that just kind of gets in everywhere. So let's start tracing. Okay, we have all the tools marked out now. And now the best thing to do, you take one of these are the best things to use on this. They're the adjustable depth blades. And the reason they're good is because you choose how far deep you want this thing to go. So like this one, I want it to sink in pretty much all the way because I can reach out and grab it from here. This one I don't, because then I wouldn't be able to grab it. I'd have to put finger holes, so I only want it a little bit. So all you do is you check the depth like that. So that would be full depth. That'd be a little bit. So I'll do that one about halfway. And you do that for each one of the tools you're kind of setting in. Makes it the easiest. Let's get cutting. I just realized that before I start cutting that, what I want to do is cut this little groove. So this rail here, this is going to be set in, because see how it's bigger. So it hangs over like that. So I need to cut this rail out of this. And I can't go deeper than that with any of the tools. So what I'm gonna do is just mark it out real quick. All right, that worked out great. I don't know, I'm realizing as I'm holding this out, I may not want these to be this thick. I've got the thinner stuff, but since this is already traced out, I'll probably just resaw it just like lumber. And cut these down a little bit, because that's a pretty high profile on here. And if I'm pushing something thin, I want to be able to get over the top of it. So I'm going to cut these down real quick. Let's do it. Okay, so I went and resawed these thinner, and I wish I would have thought of this before, and the last couple times I've done this, because the other size, I think it's 30, I want to say it's 30 millimeter thick, is a little too thin, and it always bugged me. But this 57 millimeters thick was always a little too thick. Never dawned on me till just now that I could just resaw this. So this is probably, I don't know, it's probably about 40 millimeter. I'm bad with metric, I'll tell you that right now. It's a little over 1.5 inches. How about that? I'm good with imperial. So yeah, now let's get to cut. One of the tricks with pens and pencils is that if you sit them all the way in, I don't know, they're just kind of annoying. So what I like to do is put one of the sides all the way in, and when pencils, it's the side I like to put in, and then put them in an angle so they're sticking up slightly so that you can always grab them. They're always kind of proud in one area. So we're gonna do that with these. So if you can see that, you can see that both of them sit in at the bottom, and then up at the top, they're proud. And I like it that way. So the bottom section is done. That's that piece all done. Now, a couple more. Okay, I'm just covering my table so I don't get spray adhesive on it. But this part is really easy. Cover everything you don't want really sticky because this stuff sticks for days. This is 3M Super 77. Stuff is amazing. It is super by 77 times. I don't know why they call it that. If you happen to have a lot of arm hair, this stuff actually gets in the air and you start to feel it get sticky. Right now, it feels so weird. If you don't, you're probably lucky. And then you just wait, you let it tack up for a little bit. Doesn't have to be a long time. And really, find the first spot quickly. Once this stuff sticks, it's pretty annoying to move around. So then what I did on my last one, that I'm gonna do on this one again, strictly for aesthetics, is take this and taper it down. Why? I don't know, because I'm weird. All right, everybody, while I'm loading this up, I just want to take a minute and say thank you for watching. This was not really a project video like I normally do. I am a professional woodworker. It's what I do for a living. I just started making videos just because I think it's fun, and I think it's a good community of men and women to be involved with. I would appreciate it if you liked and subscribed the video. Share with anyone you think might like it. Hey, share with people that you think won't even like it, but it helps a lot. And so I really appreciate you tuning in. That is the Kaizen foam table saw fence inlay. Holds all the tools. If you have any questions, comments, leave them in the comments below. I'd love to talk with you guys. I'll leave the link to where I get this with Fatcap in the description. Other than that, you guys have a great day.